A day dawning in Indiana. The final day of competition in the National Hot Rod Association National Drag Racing Championships. Raceway Park. If you want to be part of the action, you want to go early. If you are part of the action, you have to go early. And the man driving this truck is very much part of the action. His name is Don Prudhomme. The national dragster considered him a prime favorite to win the Nationals in AA fuel competition for a second successive time. A young man, but still a veteran. He's been in the sport a long time. He's learned his trade the hard way. He's a favorite.
I think at this time of morning it would be running on the road, right?
I couldn't even believe it when I got up there. When he called at 6.
Yeah. Another morning, right? We got 2 more to go when we go home, right?
Is that the plan?
That's the plan. Of course, the main thing's that clutch, but we get that clutch and tire combination together, we got it made. We go up the line in the last round and try it like that, and then maybe smoke some tires through history, right? They're pretty good guys, but you know, when you get to a meet like this, you don't really have any friends, you know? You can't.
Do you believe there's traffic?
Do you have any real plans on how you're going to run the meet? Full bore all the way. You have to. You try and back off and save it for the last round, somebody will get you. Or grenade it against you or something, you know. Just plan on, after 5 runs, the engine will be junk, but the last run, it'll still be there.
As you could tell by Don Prudhomme's comments and reflections earlier this morning when these pictures were taken, there would be little time for quietness at the track. When he arrived, these young fans were waiting. Don Prudhomme always takes time to visit with those who back him from the stands, and particularly the young people. He recognizes his sport for what it is. It is more than just acceleration down a quarter-mile strip, a test of speed. It's also a test of men.
Okay.
On this day, from here on, there'll be very little time for personal reflection.
Don Prudhomme has won it twice now, and should he win, he will join Garlett as a 3-time national champion.
The National Hot Rod Association Nationals offering more than $300,000 in total posted prize money. The crowd came early.
1,000+ entries to this national championship, and we're down now to just about a couple of hundred, and everything riding on the action today.
The transformation of the man into a fantasy-like figure as he pulls on the fireproof clothing, the mask, the helmet, wedging the body into the steel cage to protect himself should there be trouble somewhere down that quarter-mile strip. The nickname Snake that Don Prudhomme wears is not the prettiest around, but it symbolizes his attitude once he sits at the starting line for a drag race. Toughness, quickness. And as they are pushed for that giddy little ride into the staging area, each man withdraws unto himself, knowing full well he's got to run his own race, that you really can't afford to race the other man. From the moment you leave that starting line until you flash over the finish line, it's often less than 7 seconds. It'll be Prudhomme against Danny Angayas, a pair of Californians. They burn their tires in the staging area to heat them up, make them as sticky as possible to get every bit of the traction they can using a special solution. But when they release the 1,500 horsepower engines onto those tires, they want them to stick, to grab, to drive, and send them winging down the quarter-mile straight. Lynn Prudhomme, part of the crew as she watches her husband Don move up to the starting line. Prudhomme in the near lane, Danny Angayas in the far lane, and they are ready. of power as Don Prudhomme defeats Danny Ungaius, the kind of action that is marking the 16th annual National Hot Rod Association staging one of the most explosive, one of the most record-setting events in the history of drag racing. I'm Keith Jackson, and today on ABC's Wide World of Sports, I think that you'll just stand in awe at some of the mechanical and personal performances by some of the top drag racing drivers in the world. And something new at the National Drags at Raceway Park, motorcycles for the first time, running in a special category, $1,500 prize money. In the competition we're about to see, James Chrysler, Minneapolis, Minnesota, on a Harley-Davidson, and from Great Britain, Dennis Norman. Their speed will be more than 135 to 140 miles an hour. In the far lane, James Chrysler gets off the line with a great hole shot, pulls away to win by a wide margin over Dennis Norman of Great Britain. And Chrysler broke 10 seconds, 9.7 seconds, better than 137 miles an hour on motorcycles, mind you, over the quarter-mile drag strip. The NHRA Nationals will continue in just a moment as we'll have a look at the funny car quarterfinals. These are the funny cars. In effect, they are short version AA fuel dragsters, plastic bodies, and Don Prudhomme is everywhere today. He owns this car. It'll be driven by Jay Howell, and here Don turns crew member as he pours the solution down for Howell to burn in his tires, heat him up, and move into the starting line area. The funny car is capable of going over 200 miles an hour. It's very light. The bodies are made of plastic. Don Shoemaker has been one of the hot fellows all across the country, match racing and in the national competition as well throughout this year. Shoemaker's car is a Barracuda, and so is the car that Howell will be driving, a Barracuda. And Shoemaker has been very, very steady in all of the competition leading up to the funny car quarterfinals. Buster Couch is the starter. Watch him explode off that starting line. I mean, they leap out of there. At the top end, pulls away to a comfortable win, 7.07 seconds, elapsed time better than 210 miles an hour for the winner, Shoemaker. So Don Prudhomme, himself a winner just moments ago, watches his Barracuda lose in the funny car quarterfinals. In case you wonder why these are called funny cars, the reason for that's very simple. A few years ago, when they first came on the scene as an experimental class, the public address announcer called them a funny car. The name stuck. No one's come up with a better one yet. Now we see Bruce Larson and Bobby Wood. That's Bobby Wood, covered up by the smoke as he heats up his tires in a Chevy 2, the red one, that's really speeding things up. That Chevy 2 has Chrysler power, incidentally. He'll be running in the near lane, and Bruce Larson and the Camaro will be in the far lane. They're ready to go. And it's Larson in the far lane, the winner, 7.16 seconds, 206 miles an hour. Bobby Wood, 7.22 seconds elapsed time. A close loser. Bruce Larson goes to the semifinals in the funny cars. Right now we're going to have a look at the Pro Stockers. Now visually, these may look very much like the cars you've just seen, but they are quite different. For one thing, the Pro Stocker is required to keep the steel shell that came when the car rolled out of the factory. It must not be changed. The steel shell must remain, and there is a minimum weight of 2,700 pounds. They are allowed to make certain lightweight modifications, but they must stay above that weight minimum. They are hot, but not as hot as the funny car. Herb McCandless, right here in the near lane in the Sox and Martin entry, against Bob Yowell. McCandless in the Duster defeats Bob Yowell in the Plymouth in the far lane, and the time for McCandless, 10.02 seconds. For Yowell, 10.14 seconds. But again, very close. This is how close. McCandless won it right at the finish line. Meantime, back in the pits, let's spend the moment with Don Prudhomme and his wife Lynn.
I hope so.
Huh?
I hope so. 2 years in a row.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, babe. We'll have to see.
Pardon me?
I say we'll have to see. We just heard a piston over the well. I think we're changing it right now.
Should we walk in?
Well, I got my boys doing it.
Top gas. The only difference, fundamental difference between this machine and the AA fuel dragster that we saw a few minutes ago, this one runs on pump gasoline. The fuel dragster runs on a mixture of nitromethane and alcohol. A big twin Chrysler powerhouse moving to the staging area. Ray Moats is the driver. Jerry Glynn in the single-engine machine. And a handful of twin-engine gas dragsters running here this week at the Nationals, and all of them have performed very well. They give away weight and quickness to get more power. Looks like Moats may have blown an engine. I think he may have won the race too, and Moats is out of control. How about that for a piece of driving? He doesn't have much room in which to maneuver. Obviously, he cooked an engine, but a great piece of work by Ray Moats to keep his dragster under control, and he brings it safely to a stop at the end of the quarter-mile run. Well, I guess if you're going to let it all hang out, this is the place, and that's how close the finish was. 7.25 seconds for Moats, the winner. Glenn, 7.27 seconds. He was the loser. So Moats is still in it, despite the fact he has blown an engine. You're watching the NHRA Nationals on ABC's Wide World of Sports from Raceway Park, Indianapolis, Indiana. This is Keith Jackson, and we continue our coverage of the Top Gas quarterfinals. Running in the near lane will be Roger Rowe. In the far lane, Chevy-powered Richie Schott. Top Gas quarterfinals. Both men have been very quick so far in their competition. Schott running with Chevy power, hoping to get a little more reliability than he has had in the past, perhaps giving away a little horsepower to get that reliability, but that does not necessarily follow because the traction is so tremendous here at Raceway Park. Schott shutting down at the middle of the strip, and Roger Rowe runs away to win in an elapsed time of 7.42 seconds. 7.42, and he got some kind of a start. He was so far out in front halfway down the strip, I think that Richie Schott realized there was no way he was going to catch him. And I think it's worth taking another look at what the drag racers call a hole shot. That's when the man gets off so quick, like that, he's gone. Almost impossible to catch him.